Parker Kligerman, CW Analyst, and this is a lap of the Chicago Street Course, one of the coolest street courses in the entire motorsports world. It starts down the front straightaway, which is repaved. You go down to turn one, you go down to about second gear. It's a fairly simple 9-degree corner, but you'll want to get as close to the wall on the exit as you possibly can. The setup for turn two, which the track is actually off camber, the asphalt, so you got to turn in earlier than you think. And then that sets you up onto DeSable Lakeshore Drive along the lake to the left of you, and this curved straightaway that you get up to about fourth gear. You can never quite see around it, and then you enter the trickiest, and I mean the trickiest, braking zone in all of NASCAR and possibly motorsports, because you're turning, and it's about 100 different asphalt types that you'll run across. It's incredibly bumpy, and you've got to go from fourth gear down to second gear and get that car to turn in across the crown, and then you enter a very tight section from turn 4 to turn 5, super tight. It's almost downhill, and you start to see like all the skyscrapers. And into that corner, you turn in and you want to get as close to the inside wall as possible. And then on the exit, it opens up so you can get back to the throttle really hard. You absolutely want to get to as close to the outside wall as possible and absolutely scrape it. If you do it right in qualifying, you will scrape the wall. This sets you up down the full back straightaway here, up to fourth gear, the fastest section of the racetrack. And if you look up and off in the distance, it's the Chicago skyline. One of the coolest moments you'll have in a race car. It's lined with trees from the park on the side, and it just feels you're going 1,000 miles an hour. At the end of this straightaway is probably the hardest braking zone in terms of the amount of brake you'll use. You'll actually go down to second gear. Some drivers may choose to go to first for the next left-hander there in turn 6, and then you head towards into the city, up a hill, basically over this blind crest of the bridge, down into turn 7, which becomes a downhill braking zone that looks at Michigan Ave there and all the hotels. So you're just staring at them thinking, I might just drive directly into those. You don't. You actually get the car stopped down to first gear, a super slow corner, one of the best passing zones possibly, because if you end up side by side, each driver has a decision to make. One of you is only going to make it through there, so one has to give up. If you try to go side by side, it's most likely going to end in contact, and a lot of it. This sets you up in the tightest sections of this racetrack. There into 8, 9, and eventually around the statue there, you're wrapping the walls, you round that, the fans are super close on the right side, and then down into another very tight, high-speed section in second gear, probably roughly around 100 miles an hour. You'll try to almost clip the inside wall into 10, into 11. You'll brake really hard. One of my favorite passing zones because you end up side by side there, similar to turn 7. One of you as the drivers has to decide. One of you is going to make it through. The other's going to have to concede the position. The inside car has any positive momentum. The outside car has to give way. And this sets you up the last little straightaway towards the final corner, which is another uphill over a bridge. And then as you crest that bridge, blind at the top, you shoot downhill, brake pretty early for the last corner because it's really easy to overspeed it. You end up back on the new asphalt, which then puts you on the front straightaway and completes a lap of the Chicago Street Course. I think personally, this is one of the best street course designs I've ever seen. And the reason being is it has multiple passing zones. It somehow is very condensed in terms of its space that it takes up in the city. And yet we have high speeds. It has a ton of character. And overall, it just is a really fun lap to drive, which means it usually puts on a great show. It's one of my favorite races of the year. I hope you all enjoy it.